If you've ever gone cold weather camping and thought, I did everything right, and then you still froze, you are not crazy. Most cold weather camping advice is technically correct, but it's not always complete. It often focuses on gear and toughness, not on how cold actually behaves. Cold doesn't just exist. It moves, it collects, it steals heat, and then it will punish bad decisions, especially at night. So today, I want to show you 4 cold weather camping techniques that almost nobody talks about. Not because they're like totally extreme, but because they're subtle. And once you understand them, you'll stop fighting the cold and you'll start controlling it. Here's a mistake I see all the time. Someone finds a campsite that looks absolutely perfect. It's flat, it's near water, it's protected, and then they freeze all night. Well, here's why. At night, cold air behaves exactly like water. It's dense, it drains downhill, and then it pools in low spots. That means valleys, meadows, lake edges, river bottoms all become cold sinks after sunset. During the day, those places feel great. They're beautiful, they're wonderful. At night, they're literal refrigerators. So instead of camping near water in cold conditions, I camp above it. Even 5 to 15 feet of elevation matters. You don't need a ridgeline. Those are often really, really windy. What you want is a subtle rise or bench where cold air drains past you instead of settling around you. Now, a question you might be thinking is, well, what if the water is actually warmer than the air? Wouldn't that push the cold air back uphill? Well, the short answer is almost never overnight. Once the sun goes down, radiational cooling takes over. Cold air drains downhill regardless of slightly warmer water. If water pushed cold air away, fog wouldn't form, but it does. The fog you're seeing is actually cold air pooling over water, not being pushed away from it. So the rule still holds. On calm, cold nights, camping above water is warmer than camping next to it. Here's the pattern in all of this. Cold weather comfort isn't about reacting at midnight, okay? It's about decisions that you make before the sun goes down. Where you camp, how cold drains, how wind moves across terrain, and that's why planning tools matter. I use Onyx Backcountry before I ever set up camp. I use Onyx to check elevation so I'm not sleeping in a cold sink, to find subtle benches above water, to see how terrain blocks or funnels wind, and to confirm I'm camping legally within public land boundaries. Satellite imagery is also huge in shoulder seasons where snow coverage and access can change really, really fast. You can actually see if snow is on the ground with satellite imagery before you even get out there. Depending on when you see this, there could be a variety of sales and discounts, so check the link in the description or scan this QR code for the most up-to-date promotions. But make sure you put my name in the checkout survey as how you found them, because that's how they track me, by the way, and it actually helps out the channel. Link is in the description. Most people see the snow and think, that's the enemy. But snow isn't just cold. Snow is trapped air. And trapped air is insulation. That's why igloos work. That's why snow caves save lives. And that's why you can actually bury your bottled water in snow at night and it will still be water in the morning. Just make sure you bury the bottle upside down so if it does begin to freeze, it'll freeze at the bottom of your bottle. When I'm camping in cold conditions, I intentionally pack snow around the base of my tent. Not burying it, just sealing the gaps where wind sneaks in at ground level. Ground level is one of the biggest sources of heat loss, and most tents leak right at the bottom. If there's wind, I'll build a short windbreak over the windward side. Keyword, short. Knee-high is plenty. Anything taller creates turbulence and actually pulls heat away faster. Now, another question you might have is, wouldn't packing snow or debris around the tent just make it colder by trapping the cold? It feels like it would, but you're not trapping cold, you're trapping air. Moving air steals heat. Still air insulates. And the same principle works without snow. Leaves, pine needles, even loose dirt, all of those are insulation that you don't have to carry out there. So I guess this is technically an ultralight tip as well. Okay, this tip alone fixes more cold nights than almost anything else. Your sleeping bag does not make heat. Let me say that again. Your sleeping bag that you bought for warmth does not create heat. It only traps heat. So if you climb into your bag and you're cold and you hope it warms up, you're already behind. So instead of recovering warmth, you want to preload it. So here's how you're gonna do that. Before getting in, lay your sleeping bag and sleeping clothes out on your pad. Then do like a 30 to a 60 second explosive movement. Like, I don't know, do some squats or burpees or hike in place. You're not trying to do like cardio or anything like that, and you're not trying to sweat, just fast heat. And then get in immediately and seal everything up. You've also probably heard the tip to boil water and put it in a sealed container, like a Nalgene bottle, and toss it into your sleeping bag all night, like a little mini heater. I mean, that's great, but this time, toss it in a few minutes early, ahead of time, so that bag actually warms up. It's gonna make a huge difference. Now, another question you might have is, won't doing movement before bed make me sweat and get me cold later? I mean, yeah, if you overdo it. So don't think of it as like exercise, think of it as ignition. And timing matters. Waiting is what gets people cold. You also might think, why not just wear more clothes inside of the sleeping bag instead? Well, because too many layers restricts circulation. Warm blood can't move, and then you're gonna feel colder. Warmth is about heat and flow. So if you're going to wear a lot of layers, it's best to wear them loosely so the layers have air to heat up and don't reduce circulation. Okay, everyone knows to wear a hat when it's cold outside, but almost no one manages their face correctly. And your face has a high blood flow and almost no insulation. So if it's exposed, especially in the wind, you're basically bleeding heat all night long. So the fix is simple. I like to use a buff or a balaclava and pull it up over my nose, leaving only a small breathing opening, not wide open, like just enough. Now, the obvious concern would probably be that, won't that cause condensation and make things worse? I mean, it can, if you seal it completely, and it's not totally perfect. You'll likely have to adjust it throughout the night. That's why you leave a small vent, ideally off to the side. You want less exposed skin, not trapped breath. Once you try this, it's gonna be absolutely shocking how much warmer you feel with the same sleep system. Cold camping doesn't reward toughness, it rewards understanding. And once you work with how the cold actually behaves, the experience changes completely. When I started backpacking and cold weather camping, I remember how overwhelming it was. It was totally conflicting advice, lots of gear mistakes, cold nights that made me question why I even wanted to do this. So I built a course that takes everything I've learned from gear to planning, to skills, to confidence, and puts it all into one clear step-by-step system. Couch to Confidence is 18 focused video lessons and a 58-page workbook that walks you through this sort of I've never done this to confidently planning and completing your own trips. You won't have to guess, you don't have to learn the hard way. You don't have to waste money fixing mistakes. So if you want to go deeper than YouTube and actually feel prepared out there, then the link to the class is in the description.